Good day, my wonderful students, listeners, and viewers at home. You are welcome to today's e-learning telecast. This telecast is being sponsored by Kaduna State Government, and I hope you've been enjoying yourselves and having a wonderful time. By the grace of God, our subject for today is civic education, and our topic for today is civil society. And under today's topic, we shall be looking at the following. 1, definition of civil society. 2, types of civil society. 3, functions of civil society. And lastly, impediments to the effectiveness of civil society. Definition of civil society. Civil society is a non-governmental organization formed for the purpose of promoting and protecting the interests of the generality of the people, as well as mobilizing them for participation in the governance and development of the society. In a nutshell, civil society are not political parties. They are non-governmental organizations. That is, the government does not have any control over them. Civil societies are more like freedom fighters. Civil societies are out there to fight against injustice, social ills, social problems, etc. Types of civil society. 1, we have non-governmental organizations known as NGO. They are not controlled by the government. They are not a profit-making organization, and their purpose is to address social or political issues. They are founded by citizens, which includes clubs and associations which provide services to its members. Non-governmental organizations are not owned by the government. They are not sponsored by the government. They are usually owned, established, or founded by individuals, by a group of people, or an association. And every NGO has a particular goal, aim, and objective that they intend to achieve. For example, we have NGOs that focus on girl-child education. It simply means that their aim and objective is to encourage female children to go to school. Number 2, private voluntary organizations like the Red Cross societies that has helped in treating injured soldiers during war. During sports, they also provide first aid treatment to injured athletes. During disasters, example, floods, earthquake, etc., they provide medical care and relief materials. So under private voluntary organizations, we have the Red Cross Society. And this society provides voluntary services. That is, you volunteer to work. It simply means that you are not going there because you want to make money. And like it is mentioned, the Red Cross Society have been existing for a very long time. They have helped war soldiers who sustain injury during war and battles. They treat them. They also assist athletes during sporting events like football, basketball, athletics, and so on and so forth. They have helped in providing medical care. Number 3, we have people or community-based organizations. Community development, people identifying their needs and mobilizing resources and people to meet such needs in the community. This is known as community development. It simply means a community identify its problem, not just identifying their problems, but also mobilizing human resources and money, finances, to ensure that these projects are executed. It simply means that these communities don't wait on the government to carry out projects for them. For example, there are communities that are not motorable. There are no routes that lead to the community. And so the youth of the community, in collaboration with the elders, will come together and then map out a strategy on how they can construct a road that will give access to the community. This is a very good example of community development. We also have communities that don't have schools. They don't have schools. And so these communities come together and they're able to pool their little resources and start up a school. Along the way, the government sees and then intervenes and helps. Number 4, we have pressure groups. They are a group of people bound together by some common interest or profession who engage in some activities to influence government policies to their advantage. Examples of pressure groups are Nigerian Union of Teachers, NUT, Nigerian Bar Association, NBA, Market Women Association. So pressure groups are also non-governmental. They are not political. And pressure groups are usually groups that fight for the interest and welfare of their members. My dear students, we shall be looking at the functions of civil society. 1, they protect citizens of the country from harassment by government. They protect citizens of the country from harassment by government. It simply means that they try to make the government to respect fundamental human rights of citizens. That is, no citizen should be oppressed or denied of his rights by the government. Number 2, provision of social welfare functions, including provision of schools, medical care, cultural facilities, etc. We have seen civil societies that have intervened in providing social and basic amenities to communities that are lacking these amenities. For example, there are communities that don't have healthcare center, they don't have hospitals. And so we have seen civil society organizations who have intervened because there have been issue of death, pregnant women dying in the course of giving birth. And so the need to establish a healthcare facility arose. And so we have seen a lot of CSOs, that is civil society organizations, that have established healthcare centers. We have seen them establish schools. We have seen them establish boreholes and other social amenities. Number 3, stimulating change. That is, they act as catalysts for social change. They make suggestions to government as to what policies should be adopted to ensure the welfare of citizens. They motivate the government by initiating projects on behalf of the community. So it simply means that civil societies are motivators. They motivate the government. They partner with the government in regards to projects. They suggest to the government policies and projects that will be beneficial to the people of the community. Number 4, educating the citizens on some fundamental issues, such as duty of government towards the citizens. This is a very important function of civil society. They are able to sensitize and enlighten citizens. They try to make them understand the functions, the duties, and the roles of government towards their citizens. And they also try to make them understand the role they can play in ensuring that government provides all these basic facilities and amenities that they need. Number 5, participation in public policy processes. Civil societies have to work collectively with the government to develop clear engagement strategies so as to promote good governance. It simply means that civil societies are catalysts for good governance. Good governance has to do when citizens are enjoying the benefits of democracy, they are enjoying the promises that have been made by various political parties before they came into power. So in a nutshell, they promote good governance. Number 6, restraining government actions. They are independent of government and serve the interest of all. They are expected to position themselves in the new political landscape, build capacity, and influence the democratic development in favor of the citizens. So it simply means that civil society organizations, they are not governmental organizations like I earlier said, but like I said, they intend to work, or they work with the government, they partner with the government, they ensure that government is able to deliver to the people. Civil society organizations ensure that citizens smile at the end of the day as a result of government performing their duties and functions. Number 7, fight against drug abuse and drug-related offenses, child molestation, trafficking, etc. A CSO, Eye-Opener Foundation, has appealed for support from communities in fighting endemic drug abuse among youth in the country. So it simply means that civil society organizations are doing a very good job in regards to fighting against drug abuse. We all know that drug abuse is a very serious social problem. And so a lot of CSOs, that is civil society organizations, have been able to come up with wonderful plans. They've been able to come up with wonderful programs that will discourage drug abuse among youths in various communities. The foundation president, Mrs. Margaret Julius, made the appeal during a community dialogue meeting on drug abuse and addiction health recently. So it means that this particular civil society organization, known as Eye-Opener Foundation, was founded by Mrs. Margaret Julius, and lately she was able to give her opinion and talk on the need on how communities can rise up and fight against drug abuse. Another CSO, Let's Talk About Humanity Initiative, LTHI, has demanded justice for the victims of the rising cases of rape of young girls in Nigeria, which has also led to the death of innocent girls. The CSO was founded by Mrs. Fatima Ganduje Ajimobi. She expressed sadness over the rising cases of sexual violence in the country. So this is an example of another civil society organization that is fighting against child molestation, against rape. We all know that of late, there's a high rise in cases of rape and child molestation. And so we have CSOs that have been able to condemn such acts. And the founder of this particular CSO has aired her own view and expressed sadness over the rising cases of child molestation and rape. Number 8, management and resolution of crisis, communal conflicts, insurgency, etc. An NGO, Peace Initiative Network, PIN, a peace building and conflict resolution CSO based in Kano State, has helped in supporting those that have been affected by communal crisis. We all know that when there are communal crises, there are a lot of victims who lost their houses, they lost properties, and so on and so forth. They are homeless. And so CSOs have really come in to provide succor, to provide shelter, to provide food, to provide clothing and other relief materials to victims of communal conflicts and crises. We have also seen that some of these CSOs have been able to intervene. That is, they've been able to settle disputes, communal clashes between communities. Number 9, ensure observance of rule of law. The rule of law is the right of a citizen that is contained in the constitution of a country. They are inalienable rights, fundamental human rights that each citizen enjoys, and they cannot be denied of such rights. Civil societies ensure that no one is denied of such rights. We all know that our fundamental human rights are enshrined in a document called the Constitution. Example, we have rights to life, rights to earn property, rights to freedom of association, rights to religion, and so on and so forth. Now, these rights are God-given rights. These rights are not given to anyone by any man. And so CSOs have been able to work alongside with government they've been able to ensure that these rights are not abused. They make sure that government respects the rights of citizens. Number 10, they promote political participation. CSOs can do this by educating and sensitizing people about their rights and obligations as democratic citizens, and encourage them to listen to election campaigns, party manifestos before voting in elections. We all know that CSOs have also played a very vital role in sensitizing and enlightening electorates in regards to election matters. For example, they've been able to encourage electorates, those who are eligible to vote, to go and register and get their voters' cards, not just registering, but also ensuring that on the day of election, they come out in mass to vote for their preferred candidates. They have also preached against violence during elections. They have also encouraged electorates to vote for credible candidates. They've encouraged electorates to listen to party manifestos and election campaigns of political parties before voting them into power. My dear students, we shall be looking at the impediments to the effectiveness of civil societies in Nigeria. That is, those factors that hinder civil societies from being effective. Number one, civil societies are vulnerable to political manipulations. We all know that civil society organizations are not political parties. In fact, they are like watchdogs. They ensure that political parties fulfill their promises and manifestos they have made earlier on before they were voted into power. Now, most political parties are not able to achieve this, and the only way they can be able to silence civil society organizations is by probably involving them in politics. Probably they can decide to give the head of a particular CSO a political appointment. Now, the moment he accepts that appointment, you discover that he begins to support government policies, even if they are not right. Number two, corruption on the part of members. This is a very serious problem when it comes to the effectiveness of civil societies. A lot of civil society members have been involved in corruption, like bribery, receiving bribes, and so on and so forth. Number three, divided loyalty and interest on the part of members. We all know that a lot of civil society organizations are divided. In fact, a lot of civil societies have sprung up as a result of division, as a result of disagreement between members. Some feel that they are oppressed, their voices and their suggestions are not being heard. And so before you know anything, there is division amongst them. Number four, type of government in power. That is, military regime, dictatorship in government, suppress the activities of civil societies. In some cases, they ban their existence and activities. We all know that during military regimes, they don't encourage civil societies. In fact, they ban their existence, they ban their activities, because civil society organizations will always talk and fight against their oppression of citizens. And so you discover that military regimes don't give room for civil societies to express themselves. Number five, rivalry among civil society organizations. Such rivalry is unhealthy, which may lead to jealousy, envy, strife, etc. A lot of civil societies are competing with each other, and you discover there is envy, there is jealousy, and there is strife. They are supposed to work together. They are supposed to cooperate and work as one body, as one entity, as one family. But you discover there is rivalry, there is competition, and this has led to the ineffectiveness of civil societies. Number six, involvement of the leadership of civil societies in partisan politics. Some of them believe that joining political parties and involving themselves in politics will make them rich or get money to sponsor the civil society organization that they belong to. And so a lot of them have deviated from their main aims and objectives. Most civil societies have now become political in nature. Number 7, the activists of some civil societies are often antagonistic and hostile to government. Hence, they do not get the needed attention. So it simply means that there are CSOs that to an extent don't know how to dialogue with government. They are aggressive in nature. They don't know how to win the heart of the government. And so before you know anything, they lost focus, they lost direction, and at the end, their aims and objectives are not achieved. Number 8, insincerity of some civil societies. Some civil societies are not sincere in regards to their scope of operation, aims, and objectives. That is, they are not focused. They tend to derail from the original intention why they were created. And so this has affected the effectiveness of civil society organizations in Nigeria. Number 9, internal wrangling and personality clashes of the leadership. We all know that there is always the issue of leadership tussle when it comes to groups, when it comes to associations and organizations. Civil societies are also faced with this challenge of leadership tussle. Everybody wants to be the leader because they believe as a leader there are certain benefits that you get. Number 10, lack of accountability. Most civil society organizations are not accountable. Don't forget that some of these CSOs have international sponsors and donors that sponsor their activities. And at the end of the day, when these donors ask them for an account of what they have used their funds to do, they are not able to account for such funds. And at the end of the day, you discover that such donors and sponsors withdraw their sponsorship from such civil societies. My dear students, I hope you have enjoyed today's lesson. Before we go, I would like to leave you with this assignment. Number 1, define civil society. Define civil society. Number 2, mention and explain 5 functions of civil societies. Mention and explain 5 functions of civil societies. Number 3, highlight any 5 factors that hinder the effectiveness of civil societies. Highlight any 5 factors that hinder the effectiveness of civil societies. Number 1, define civil society. Number 2, mention and explain 5 functions of civil societies. Number 3, highlight any 5 factors that hinder the effectiveness of civil societies. For further reference, you can contact the following textbooks. 1, Civic Education for Senior Secondary Schools and Colleges by J.B. Saleh, Dr. O. Ademola, P.A. Damlop. Number 2, Civic Education for Senior Secondary Schools and Colleges based on the NERDC curriculum by C.I. Unwaeze, V.E. Ogbe, Y.S. Bashir, et al. My name is Charles Dunia Nanat. You can contact me through this number on your screen for your assignment and for further explanation. 070-6312-6878. I repeat, 070-6312-6878. My dear students, stay home, stay safe, keep learning. COVID-19 is real. God bless you. Till I see you next time. Bye-bye.